Hi, it's Betty Plus Books, and today I'm going to be telling you about my favorite Halloween-y reads for this year. And the first book I want to recommend is A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. I read this a few years ago, and based on what I remember, it's about a girl who had something awful happen in her family several years ago. That event had some supernatural elements to it and some really creepy stuff, and this is kind of told through the perspective of her from the future and also interviews with her and her family in the past. And I think there are some flashbacks in here, and overall I thought it was really cool. This was one of the first horror books I read. I was really afraid of scary movies as a kid, and so I was really hesitant to read any horror novels for quite some time. But turns out reading about horror stuff doesn't bother me. Watching it does. I'm not good with jump scares, and if there's something related to a jump scare in a book, which I believe, if I remember correctly, there kind of is in this one, you can just slow down and it's great, and you can turn on all the lights and it's perfect. I don't know if I can say that it's Exorcist-like because I've never actually seen The Exorcist, but I get the impression that this is kind of like The Exorcist. If you're interested in something that's related to possession and is very creepy, try out this book. If you want something with kind of a haunted feel but you're more into science fiction, you might like Blindsight by Peter Watts. So this is a book wherein a group of people go to investigate, I think it's another planet, and they encounter some really scary otherworldly things when they get there. So this has some of those spooky October feels for me, even if it's not specifically a traditional ghost story or a haunting story. The next two books I want to recommend are the first and second book in the Wayward Children series by Seanan and McGuire. Neither of these are really meant to be Halloween books, but I feel like each of them, when I read them, had kind of that fall vibe with a little bit of spookiness. Some mysterious things happen in book one that I would consider kind of Halloween-y. And the second book takes place in a world that has kind of that whole atmosphere of being Halloween-like. So these are good picks for the month of October, and they're fairly short, so you could probably get through them in a couple days easily. The next book I want to recommend is the first book in a trilogy called the Gateway Trilogy, and this is Spirit Legacy by E.E. Holmes. I feel like in some of its themes and atmosphere, this is similar to Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, but the narrative is a little bit straightforward and the ultimate goal of the plot is very different. So you might like this as something that includes ghosts and supernatural phenomena and characters that are able to see and detect ghosts and who solve problems with those abilities. Also, after this trilogy, there is a follow-on series of several books, so if you like this and you end up liking this series, then there's a lot more to read. Next, I want to recommend The Supernatural Enhancements by Edgar Cantero. This is the book that I said in my end of the year TBR I was going to read to kick off fall. But this is really interesting in that the narrative comes in a lot of different formats. There's entries from journals, diary entries, there are transcripts from interviews. I think the variety in the formats of storytelling makes this feel more authentic and makes it feel more convincing as a horror novel. So I didn't find this terribly scary, but I did find it really interesting. I don't remember if ghosts were confirmed or not. There's like a bunch of mysteries and there's puzzles. I'm going to try not to show it too closely so I don't spoil anything, but like you have like images of letters and things, and it's just really cool. Like, look, there's even like pictures of a maze. There's like pieces where they show where the main characters are trying to solve certain codes and things. So I just thought this whole thing was very cool, and I'm looking forward to reading it again. And just like, again, I've done this before, but the cover's so pretty. I love black and white covers, and this just, it's beautiful. I love it. That's my short list of recommendations for books to read for October and Halloween. I hope that this helps you find something that you like to read. If you want to join me this month in reading The Supernatural Enhancements by Edgar Cantero, I will definitely be doing a review on this later this month, and this will be featured as my book for one of my Bookmark Mondays, wherein I review a book and make a bookmark related to it sometime in the month of October. I hope to see you again soon. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so until next time, happy reading. Are you gonna stay? Are you gonna go? Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay? Okay.